Are you living paycheck to paycheck right now? Maybe you're working at a job right now, but you're not making enough money. Or maybe you are looking for a job. You're looking to enter the workforce. Or maybe you are in transition. You're working in a job, but you're looking for something better. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a job. A lot of people, they think I'm anti-jobs or something. I'm not anti-jobs, but what I am anti is anti-happiness. Anti-not living up to your potential. You see, you have to understand something here. When people ask me the question, oh, Dan, I've got no money. Like, I'm broke. What should I do? What's the first piece of advice I give them? You go get a freaking job. Get some money coming in. Get some income coming in. Sometimes you got to do what it takes just to make a living, right? Just to get some money coming in, to pay the bills. Nothing wrong with that. But you see, we all enter the rat race. Since a very young age, at a very young age, we've been programmed by society. Go to school, get good grades, get a nice, safe, secure job, right? Work 40 years, and then maybe retire the remaining time that you have on this planet Earth, right? Retire at somewhere warm, and then that's it. That's your life. Think about when you were a little kid, right? When you need money, you go talk to your mom, you talk to your dad. You ask them, hey mom, dad, I want some money. I want to buy some candy. I want to buy that video game. What do your mom and dad tell you? You go get a job. So at a very young age, we've been taught the only way to make any money, to generate income, is from a job. We were not taught any other ways to generate income. Now, I'm not asking you to quit your job tomorrow and say, hey, go start a surfboard rental business or something like that, or go travel the world. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, maybe you're working at a job and you're looking for something better, leaving the job that you have. Nothing wrong with that. More money, right? More benefits. If it'll make you happier, go for it. But my question to you is, what's your long-term goal? What's that long-term vision for yourself, right? And the decision that you're making now, would that create long-term happiness? That's my question for you. I'm not asking you to quit your job tomorrow. What I want to do is to help you to stop living the fear of the idea of quitting and stop living paycheck to paycheck. Tip number one, job security is an illusion. If I was to ask 100 people to share with me in one single word, what do they want out of a job? What do they want in terms of a job with benefits and vacation pay or a retirement plan? Chances are they will say this one word, security. Now my question to you is, does job security still exist? Just because you work for a big company, does that mean you are secure, right? Does it mean that you are all well taken care of? We all know people, maybe you know some people. Share your story below, comment below. You know someone who's worked for a big company and they work hard all their lives, right? And thinking that they could retire comfortably. And then what happens? They get laid off, or the company goes bankrupt, or something happens, right? Regulations and policy, and suddenly they lose their security. They still get thrown out of the street, right? Or you think if you're working for the government, think about the government. Oh yeah, then I'm absolutely, for sure, it's secure. Is it truly secure? Think about that, right? If you have no security working for a big corporation, if there's no guarantee even you're working for a government that will give you security, then what do? You see, job security, it is an illusion. Just because you work hard, just because you stick with one company, just because the company is going well today, no one can predict 5, 10, 20 years what happens. You can see industries getting disrupted by technologies. What exists today may not exist tomorrow. I don't even care if it's a Fortune 500 company. I don't care if it's a $1 billion company. They could go bankrupt just like this. And then from then on, all the work that you've done, all the security that you're supposed to have, you've accumulated, all that, it's gone. Tip number 2, work to learn. Don't just work to earn. Right? After you graduate, don't just pick a job that pays you the most amount of money, right? Maybe it pays you a few dollars more per hour, or a couple grand more per month, right? Don't be so short-sighted. Think long-term. Pick an industry that you have an interest in. Pick an industry that maybe you want to learn more of, where you can see yourself, you can stay within that industry for 2, 3, 5 years, right? I strongly believe who you work for is way more important than what you do. Who you work for. Just imagine if you could go back in time, right? You could work for Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. Just they were about to take off, right? They're just growing. Just imagine if you work for them, how much would you learn for the right position? So work to develop a skill set, work to acquire your knowledge, right? Work to be better. Then when you transition out of the job, all those skill sets, no one could take away from you. The knowledge, the industry knowledge that you have, no one could take that away. And you can take that to the next level. Tip number 3, and that is think of your job as temporary, not permanent. Now, if job security is an illusion, you don't want to buy into that and think, okay, you know what, I'm going to work at this job for 20, 30 years, right? I strongly believe that the credential economy is dead, meaning I have a degree, then I'm good, or the job economy, right? Where I have a job, I can work that for 20, 30 years, I can work in the same industry. No. How many career shifts that you've had in your career, right? How many job changes? Or maybe you study one subject and then you spend a lot of years in that subject and then you shift to something else, something completely different, right? We all have gone through that, right? You have to reinvent yourself from time to time. So think of your job as temporary. You're there to learn, to acquire knowledge, to develop skill sets, to meet people, to develop connections, but knowing that that is temporary, right? It's not permanent. You want to leverage that as a stepping stone, as a transition to go to that next career or transitioning that into entrepreneurship or into something else, right? I believe if it's not job economy, what should you focus on? Skill economy. Skill economy, right? You look at people who now drives Uber. It's a skill set. That's not a very, very valuable skill, but it's still a skill set. They're doing different things to bring money in. That's what's going on in the society. It is a skill economy. It's no longer a job economy because the job that you're working for right now may not exist. But the skill that you have, you can transfer that. You can take that to different industries. That's what you want to do. Tip number 4, and that is put money aside as you earn more money. Have you heard of the Parkinson's Law? What it says is this: no matter how much money people earn, they tend to spend the entire amount and a little more besides. It is one of the most important laws when it comes to money and wealth accumulation. You notice, think back when you were getting started. How much were you making back then to how much money you're making now? Maybe you're now making more money than before, but also notice what happens to your expense, right? Your expenses, your overhead, your lifestyle. So what happens is most people, as they make more and more money from their jobs, right, they try to keep up with the Joneses. You've heard of that term, keeping up with the Joneses. So they make more money, income increases, but also the expenses increase, right? It goes like this. The problem is, and then that's how people get into debt. The problem is, as if you spend all the money that you make right now, you're not putting aside some money, you're always living in fear. Or what if I lose my job? What if I get downsized? What if the company fires me? What happens if I don't get that promotion? You're always living in fear. And when you're living in fear, you cannot make decisions coming from a place of abundance because you're afraid, right? You're afraid to quit. You're afraid to think outside the box because you're tied to that job security. You're so afraid to lose that next paycheck. If you don't have that next paycheck coming in, you're freaked out. So put some money aside as you earn more money. Very, very key. Number 5, create your own job security. Now, what do I mean by that? One of the concepts that I teach, and that is the concept of financial confidence. Not financial freedom, because a lot of people, they talk about financial freedom. I don't believe in that. I believe financial freedom is actually also an illusion, just like job security. Because just because you're free today doesn't mean you're free tomorrow. However, when you have financial confidence, meaning you have the confidence, you have the skill set to generate money, to generate income, what happens is you feel secure within, that you're not depending on the government, you're not depending on the economy, you're not depending on a job or a manager, a boss, you're not even depending on your investments to provide for you. You make you money. You have the skill set to go out there, go out to the marketplace and be able to generate income on demand. That's what I am talking about. And we have helped hundreds and hundreds of people around the world to do that, to quit their jobs and develop true, no bullshit, true financial confidence so they could quit their job and stop living paycheck to paycheck. If you want to find out how we do it, click the link below and see how we've helped our students from all over the world, from all walks of life, from now over 130 countries, to be able to quit their jobs. And maybe you want to quit your job, maybe you don't want to quit your job, but isn't it time for you to develop that financial confidence so you're not living in fear all the time? You're not living in the fear of the idea to quit. Maybe you don't have to quit. Wouldn't it be nice if you get to a point where when you work at a job, it's because you want to, not because you have to, right? It's out of joy, not out of obligation. So click the link below and find out more today.